Which one is better? Actually, it is the first. For the IELTS, it's more of a test of language, so statistics are not really necessary. What can be the most intimidating task than to come up with specific examples in writing Task 2? Hello, I'm teacher Emma, and for today's presentation, we will be going through a list of helpful tips in writing examples effectively. The IELTS task response does not mention any instruction about using examples. However, what is quite obvious here is that clear, specific, and well-developed ideas are encouraged. If the main idea is not developed and supported well, then this will probably result to a low band. Moving on. For this question, a sample answer is to agree, and we will be showing you the first body paragraph explaining the negative effects of fast food to family food choices. And the first tip is to place it after the topic sentence main idea in the middle of supporting statements or the beginning of the sentence. So for this example, it is placed at the third sentence. But what if we placed it in the beginning? Then after the specific details, we will have to go over all the general statements, and that would be quite confusing. Notice also that the name of the university is included here. In other examples, it may be the name of the business or the research or newspaper, then that is also acceptable. However, if it is quite hard to come up with those, then you may just make it up and just make sure to make it realistic. We'll be going over that later on. Now, for this next example, we will be using partially agree. Yes, remember that? That was in our previous video. And in this answer and the first body paragraph, we will be explaining the best way to travel by car. And the next tip is use reliable examples. It is highly suggested to use a quote from a source, like what we said, the newspaper, or it can be a specific company, report, government, report, even survey, poll, or research project. That is very much recommended. But if it is quite hard to come up with those once again, then use an alternative, which is to change it a little, but make it believable. Like this one, for instance. This example supports the main idea about better way of traveling within the city, which is by car, by stating that the frequency of accidents actually occur for motorists and bike owners. Notice also that it is introduced by a research, but actually that one was made up, but it does look believable. Now for the third tip, let us use proper referencing. Let's compare. The first set of sentences you start with for instance, for example, to illustrate this, but after that it is followed by some details. On the other hand, this example here will include there's evidence, it includes a recent poll and research, which makes it a lot more believable, and at the same time it explains where these information come from. So let us use these examples. Also, let us proceed with languages versus statistic. Okay, let us compare. Which one is better? Actually, it is the first. An explanation here is statistics are quite useful in university essays and theses, but for the IELTS, it's more of a test of language. So statistics are not really necessary. Let's take a look at more samples. We see here the same information, but let's see the difference. This is a government report with the year, percentage, and duration of time. And this is replaced with a large proportion of, and finally, this does not include any statistics, but all the information that we need to know about this Philippine government report is over here. Hence, let us use this example. Sometimes the examiner does not have any way of checking these details, so let us stay safe on this side. For this next sample question, we will be explaining the advantages of working for a big firm or company. And for that, our tip is to avoid too general or informal examples. Let us compare. For this answer, we have here an example that includes a personal experience. But actually, personal examples are okay, but they have the tendency of being informal. So if we look at the next example, we'll see here that this actually is quite clear, specific, and concise, hence a better example. To sum up our tips, let's remember to know where we can put this example, whether it's after the main idea, topic sentence, in the middle of the supporting statements, or the beginning of the sentence. Let's use reliable examples, proper referencing. Let's remember also to use language over statistics and avoid too general or informal examples. With time and practice, surely you'll be able to improve your task response. So let's use all these steps in writing examples. That concludes our presentation. So we will follow you up with more tips on this. So please subscribe now to our channel and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. See you!